podcast. The Idlecast.
In the great hall of the Justice League, there are assembled the world's greatest heroes, created from the cosmic legends of the universe.
Scott McDermott,
I was bit by a black widow in Hamul in my sleep.
Harrison Perkins,
Every muscle in my body is clenching right now.
And
Scott Clark,
You know, I would like to get to know a tarantula.
their mission to fight injustice, to right that which is wrong, and to serve all mankind.
ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
Good morning, Vietnam!
We'll do it live. No. We'll do it live.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Guten Tag, Herr Michael. I don't understand why Michael is wasting his time with Spanish. I have it on very good authority that within 20 years, everyone will be speaking German, or a Chinese-German hybrid.
Possibly. Who knows? Good day, guten Tag.
Firefly, their prediction is that everybody in space will speak Chinese, even though it's Western. Did you ever watch Firefly? Am I the only one watching Firefly?
I don't know what that means.
One of the Heidelkinder strongly exhorted me to watch Firefly. And I think I found one episode and I started, I think, or at least I intended. I don't know. So I don't have much knowledge of it.
There's only 14 episodes and a movie.
I think that's what I found. That there isn't much there.
That was the thing that put Joss Whedon more. I mean, he had done Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but then Firefly sort of put him at next level. For all the nerds out there, you're welcome.
Wasn't Buffy like a CW show?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember that, but I never watched it because it was, I thought, pretty clearly not aimed at me. So I wasn't watching that. I think we had back then, we didn't have cable, but we had, I think, a local broadcast station that was CW.
Back then, CW was WB.
Oh, Warner Brothers.
We are back in the days, my friend.
Okay, WB. I remember that. The frog, yes.
Yeah, the frog was still
See,
around.
I remember the frog from the actual cartoon, that's a great, great cartoon, the frog.
To be clear, I was invoking Buffy as factual information, not as a recommendation that people watch it.
Thank you.
It was an implicit confession that you watched it.
I have seen pieces of it.
Yes, it was. It sounds like it was.
Whether that is all the pieces or some of the pieces is not disclosed in that statement, but I've seen pieces of it.
Wie sick you have been watching Buffy's Vampire Slayer?
Not recently by any stretch of the imagination.
No, yeah, good, yes. Time passes and these things fade from memory.
I imagine that it would bother my conscience far more than it. I mean, yeah, it's fairly not good.
Okay.
And to be honest, to be fair, to be full disclosure, whenever we talk about The Office, we're not telling you to watch it.
Okay.
Speaking to the listeners, you should watch it, Dr. Clark. You need to catch up. But to the listeners out there, don't watch The Office.
Not maybe not always edifying. So what's new?
It's the opposite of edifying.
It's too cold out there, I think, for you, Harrison, to be doing any big like yard projects or building projects outside. The ground is too hard, I think.
Well, yes. Okay. So there was nothing ground related, but I did prune my apple trees and had to pick up a bunch of leaves and dispose of limbs. So the apple trees, well, I think we may have gone over this. So I had pruned them, but I had a big pile of sticks that I had, like the tops that had come off. And I broke those down. So I think I am at 25 bags of leaves to clear up my yard this year. But I'm done.
As the listener is hearing this was long past, and the ground is very solidly frozen where you are. And you're probably not doing anything like that. But
this is January. It's frozen hard, and I'm still picking up leaves, y'all.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, that'd be terrible. Yeah. To be both having to deal with leaves and January, that would be bad.
That's why you got to get the leaves now.
Yeah. So remind me, it's been a while since I've had to deal with this. Why is it bad to leave the leaves on your yard? I remember having to get it up before the snow, get the leaves off the lawn before the snow, because you didn't want the leaves But don't they just disintegrate in the snow and the wet? Or so in the spring, it'll just be a mess.
So you could cut them up. You don't have to remove them.
You just chop them up with a mower.
That could work.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
Mulch them.
Leaving entire leaves. Yeah, that's bad.
yeah, they get mushy and just turn to mush, and then they leave a layer of mush that kind of hurts your grass and stuff.
And it makes it muddy. It like the mush turns it into mud essentially.
It seems like by nature, it should be good for your yard.
But by grace, it is not.
I don't think that works.
The leaves are, it's the how thick that layer is. I mean, so if that's why I say if you mulch them and mow them up and leave that actually is good for your yard.
Okay.
But if you just leave it where it's like it can't breathe, it becomes like
then it suffocates. Then your yard just becomes a swamp, a muddy swamp.
Yeah, essentially.
Yes.
And that's eventually it might be better for the soil. That could be true. But it doesn't help the grass because the grass can't get any sun. And then it's just
and then
dirt.
and then when you're going from snow, ice, rain, dry, snow, ice, rain, dry, imagine what that does to the leaves that you forgot to pick up. It's a mess. And then you can slip on them because it becomes slippery.
Oh my, that's not good.
So yeah, just mulch them up, just mow them, just pick them up.
I remember doing all that.
Good old days.
Yeah, but I haven't had to do that for a while. So we don't have.
The palm trees don't wilt in.
Well, we're almost, as we're recording, we're pretty much at the end, almost at the end of mowing season, but not quite. I think the yard actually needs to be mowed, and there's some weed whacking probably that needs to be done. But
just to prep the listeners for next season, 2026 is going to be the summer of drainage when I fix all the drainage issues in the yard. So get ready for updates on that, my friends.
Are you trying to make people not want to listen anymore?
Exactly.
Oh, they will come back. I have had people tell me that they are surprised by how much I talk about my yard on this show.
Is that because they've seen your yard?
Positivity or negativity built into that, I could not tell. But they have told me they're surprised.
This is Yard Talk. You're listening to KGRL in Bend, and we're talking with Harrison Perkins and Scott McDermott about your yard. You can call us. I've forgotten the area code for Bend. We never actually did a show like that. But it could have happened. It would have been more appropriate to have done it at 1530 KECK, Proud Country. This is Yard Talk with Scott McDermott and Harrison Perkins.
Hey there.
Yeah.
To our 5 listeners, how's it going out there?
KECK was a 5,000 watt powerhouse that boomed all the way from the very south end of Lincoln well into central Kansas. So
Yes, it was. And then Yard Talk killed not only the show, but the entire radio network.
Well, the sad thing was they had the towers on the south end of town. So the whole town, they missed the whole town, right? They should have put the towers on the north end and it would have blanketed Lincoln and would have been much better for the station. But they put the transmitter, the towers, and the studios on the far south end. So
They'll never learn.
yeah, well, the station doesn't exist anymore. So it was a daytimer that we had to get off the air at sundown for a station in Cincinnati, I recall. I don't remember the call letters.
Ohio.
Yes, Ohio.
Skibbity, Ohio. Toilet or whatever that saying is.
Skibbity? Yes, I've heard of skibbity.
No, this is real. Like,
yeah. No, I've heard of it. What does skibbity mean?
it's the combination. I think it's Skibbity Toilet, Ohio.
Oh, that sounds...
The toilet gives away.
Yeah, that doesn't sound... I thought you said toilet. That's what
I have no idea what you're saying.
he's speaking
the young
in tongues.
people talk.
Speaking in tongues.
Yeah.
It goes alongside of 6'7",
Oh, yeah.
which I also hate.
6'5"?
No, 6'7". That's a thing that kids are saying, and it apparently means nothing. And they're laughing at us because we're trying to figure it out and invest a lot of significance into it. It's just a thing that kids say.
I have yet to invest any.
Well, good for you.
So to be clear, I don't know why people hate Ohio so much, but I know that I'm supposed to in Michigan. So I'm threading the needle here
Oh,
of I have met people from Ohio that I like a lot.
one of my sons-in-law is from Ohio. He's from the south of Cleveland. So I'm learning he went to Ohio State, the Ohio State, and
Not Ohio State.
Nope, there's only one, so you have to say
But
the
the.
Ohio State.
Not thou, but the.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why it's so important to say the Ohio State, but it is because there's University of Ohio or Ohio University. I don't know what it is. That's in Athens, Ohio.
I thought it was in Miami. No,
No,
that's
they're-
Miami University. It
Yeah,
just happens.
that's
to be in Ohio.
Miami
Never
of-
mind.
Yeah,
They're just trying to make themselves sound cool.
prestigious.
Being in Michigan, it's incredible how many people have a disdain for Ohio.
There's a real, a rivalry, a football rivalry, I guess basketball
Yeah,
rivalry.
I mean, well, Columbus, right?
As we are recording, they have not played the big game, right? The Ohio State-Michigan game. That should be coming up.
Would it be Ohioans?
Yes.
Ohioans?
Ohioans, I think.
Ohioites?
Ohioans.
It's Michiganders and Ohioans.
Okay.
Yeah. It's more about Ann Arbor and Columbus.
Yeah.
So anyways, I just think it's odd. And then I always say, oh yeah, my grandpa was from Ohio. He was a farmer in Ohio. And then they go, whoa. That's a dumb place to farm. It's like, okay, guy, just get over yourself.
Ohioans need to eat too, right?
It's like, come on.
It's a dumb place to farm. Well,
And then I tell him, yeah, he gave up his military deferment as a farmer in order to serve in World War II, and he got half his body blown up for you dumb farmer. And then they go, whoa. So it's the hatred of Ohio just blows my mind.
it's very intense. When I was a boy in Nebraska, we hated Oklahoma.
Previous century.
Yeah, previous century. The rivalry was very intense because they were very good when I was a boy, and they were very successful, and over the decades had beaten us a lot. And we didn't finally really achieve dominance over them until the 80s and 90s. We were pretty dominant over Oklahoma, but there was a lot of hatred. You know, people talk about all the respect there was between Nebraska and Oklahoma. Not where I was. We did not respect Oklahoma. We do now, but that's mainly a function of nostalgia. Barry Switzer was evil incarnate as far as we were concerned. Tom Osborne was good, and Barry Switzer was evil, and he cheated, and we did not like him. If a kid had worn an OU T-shirt or sweatshirt to school, it would not have gone very well back then. You could do it now. Nobody cares anymore, but back then it would have been not a good thing. So Nebraska doesn't really have exactly a rival, although I think Iowa is taking the place. Used to be Colorado for a while, and it kind of is because their fans are kind of nasty. They throw things and are gross. But everybody in Nebraska's got relatives or friends in in Iowa, and they're right across the river, and people work with people from Iowa. So as we're recording, that's the game this week, Nebraska versus Iowa. And we've got to win this game to get a decent bowl game and to make a little progress so we can go 8-4, which is what I predicted.
I didn't know the three of us were playing. When is our game?
No, we talked about this. Clark can say because he went there.
And I thought about the jersey thing. So I would there's a jersey I would wear, and that would be Jeff Kinney's jersey. He was a friend.
Is he a current player?
No, he's long retired.
You can wear Legends jerseys,
Yeah.
but you cannot wear current players because that's the girlfriend's job.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't. There aren't.
That's the cheerleader's job.
But I would wear Jeff Kinney's jersey. If you look him up, Kinney, he was the hero of the game of the century, 1971, and he was a friend. We went to the same church. We played on the same church league basketball team.
That's cool.
What if it just has the number but not the name?
Well, in college, don't they just have numbers?
No,
Well,
they-
that's what
at
I'm
least they
thinking.
used
No,
to.
they have
I mean,
names
so
now.
like I have one jersey. It's got the number 12 on it, but no name. I don't know if any. I mean, somebody's probably number 12 for Auburn.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, lots of famous quarterbacks have been number 12. So then it would be determined by the colors
Cam
of the
Newton?
jersey.
No, that was number 2.
Right.
This one, I got this one when Brandon Cox was the quarterback. Look, there's a football fact thingy. I just said it, and I said it. It just came out natural. I didn't even have to look that up.
Yeah, it was in there. I was impressed. I was about to say, well done.
Yeah, there's some things there. I got it when Brandon Cox was number 12 and was quarterback for Auburn. But somebody's probably number 12.
Okay.
Am I allowed
yes,
to wear it?
Yeah, lots of quarterbacks are number 12. It's sort of.
I just think it's weird.
that's the
grown
standard.
men.
That's the standard quarterback number. Is 12.
I actually haven't worn it in a very long time.
Yeah.
But I'm just asking if I can.
I don't have a Jeff Kinney jersey, just in case you're worried about it. I don't think I could even get one.
I was
could
worried.
I could have one custom made, but I wouldn't do that. Are we about ready to open up the coffer?
How do we get a jersey for the Heidel blog?
Oh, we could see if
We're on
we
the
have
team.
to have a team.
We're here. We are
we could see once, as they say in Michigan.
the Clarkonauts.
Have you heard that? See once?
No, the word here is yet.
See yet? So maybe
No,
that's...
you just add yet to everything.
Oh, okay. Maybe
How you doing yet?
Oh, maybe that's Western Michigan. See once. That's where I heard it. I have dear friends from Western Mich.
Okay, I'm latching onto this though. Like instead of Huguenots, we're Clarkonots.
I don't know. That seems wrong. I'm not sure why. Let's open up the coffers. Here we go. Or the coffers, singular.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends.
And there's the coffer. Opening up, reaching in, pulling out the missive. It's fairly extensive. I don't know if I should read the whole thing. I'm just going to read sections. This is from Stephen with a PH. Now, this is from May. I found this buried deep in my email, so I thought we should probably do this one. And he's responding to a May 17 podcast, early days for the Super Friends. And he's somebody had asked about praying for pets. And he said he enjoyed the episode, but he was left with a question. What are the theological implications of the importance that Americans so often give to their pets or pets in their lives? And then he goes on to give some biography, having been raised on a farm, et cetera, and sort of complains about the way people relate to their pets. They spend, thousands of dollars on vet bills, et cetera, but they can't leave a tip. And my response to that is, in California, the service industries have taken care of themselves. So I'm about to give up tipping because it's now $20 to go to a fast food place. So you guys can figure it out now that you've raised the minimum wage to whatever it is, $20 an hour. That you've got your tip. It's in there.
Yeah, can't even go to Five Guys anymore. Come on.
No. I mean, I could drive over to San Marcos, but it's anyway. Then he says, where is the line to be drawn between the beasts and livestock of the earth and those created in the image of God, which I think is a substantial question. And he suggests that the line's being blurred both by believers and unbelievers. And he raises the question about service animals, to which I respond briefly by saying PTS is real. So if you actually knew people with PTS, you wouldn't say that. I mean, yes, okay, when people are naming their peacock their emotional support animal.
Look, don't take a shot at me.
Oh, yes, the peafowl, one of my favorites.
We used to actually
tastiest animals.
We used to actually have up about 4 or 5 blocks from us, up on the ridge just above us. There were 2 or 3 peacocks, and they used to make quite a lot of noise. It was fine. I didn't mind it too much.
So I don't know that actually the statement here is out of line. It says, I wonder if the growing need for a multitude of, quote, service animals better illustrates that. I mean, so you've just tagged the thing that he's saying. I don't think he's questioning that there are real needs for service animals. But I mean, I saw like a little froofy dog barking the other day, but it's got a service animal vest on. I'm like, I've never seen a real service animal that's a little tiny froof dog like that. But 2, I also know real service animals are trained not to bark like that for no reason. So like, there's a dead giveaway that you're making this up.
Okay, maybe, but there are dogs, even small little floofy dogs that are, for example, for people with diabetes. And if they're barking or
diabetes,
or if they're alerting somehow, it could actually, I don't know what the circumstances are, but they
barking at nothing. Like, no, this is a situation where they're...
Well, maybe it's possible somebody just got a service dog vest and stuck it on their dog so they could take their dog wherever they wanted.
Yes, that's happening.
That's an abuse.
And I think that's what he's tagging.
Okay. Yeah, that's an abuse of the system. But if he's raising questions about the legitimacy of service dogs, I don't agree with that.
Think he is.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood.
I think he's saying things that we're all agreeing.
And he says, I wonder if the depravity, and he says...
Do you remember what Augustine said about eating the flesh of a peacock?
I don't remember that.
In City of God, he said it provides antiseptic, it has antiseptic qualities. And if you age it long enough, it can like really make your life better and longer.
Augustine coming in with the win. Peacock jerky.
Yeah, but that's your service animal, Harrison.
It sounded like to me the peacocks were saying the name of one of the children that lived in the neighborhood back then. That's what it sounded like. It was kind of strange.
Sorry to interrupt.
Peacock burger. I wonder.
I once ate buffalo or bison.
Yeah. That's common.
American bison.
That's not even exotic anymore. Come on.
Oh,
You don't eat peacock burger. You eat it like you would eat a pheasant or.
I've had kangaroo burger, crocodile burger.
and this was in 1980. I was a student in college, maybe 81, probably maybe 81, because I think not yet Mrs. Clark was with me, and we got buffalo burgers, they called them, but technically bison burgers. And I remember it being somewhat tangy. Otherwise, I thought it was fine.
So how do we get peacocks, though? That needs to go in the Heidel shop, peacock burger.
Well, yeah. It's possible that we could get jerseys made. I don't know. That's a question for our web genius.
And now they're going to have peacocks on them. The Heidel blog peacocks.
What does this turn to animals say about our understanding of biblical anthropology and our collective conscience as a culture and even as a church in responding to it? So I made some notes here on this hard copy that I printed out. And one is that people on the farm, as Stephen was or is, raised on a farm, so maybe he's not now. So there's a difference between farm culture and city culture. On the farm, animals are livestock. You got big livestock, you got little livestock. And by and large, they're kept out of the house unless it's really, really cold. You need to bring a calf in the house to save its life, something like that. That happens, right? You have a newborn calf. When it's cold out, Grandpa would go out and rescue that calf, bring it in, warm it up, and that sort of thing. And they had pets, but the dog was kept out on the mud porch, wasn't really allowed in the house. He was an outdoor dog, and the cats were all outdoor cats. They were given relatively safe places to be when the weather was really bad, but they were not in the house. Their job was to keep the vermin down, which they did fairly successfully, I think. Never saw any rats or mice on the farm. But then as I was looking at this, I think it's true that people do blur the lines between animals and people when they talk about being a dog parent or a cat parent, that sort of thing. That doesn't strike me as particularly appropriate.
Fur babies.
Yes, fur babies.
So I should quit calling myself a fish daddy? I actually don't have a fish.
He's talking pig Latin. I don't know what he's saying.
You never should have started.
Truth is stranger than fiction.
That is the first time I've ever said that, just to be clear to the listeners. And I don't even have a fish.
Well, we are going to call you Dr. Fish Daddy.
I have been called far worse than that. I will take it.
Fish Daddy. Oh, my.
I once convinced someone briefly. I told them the truth by the end, but that Heineken meant baby fish in German.
I don't think
it's not true.
Isn't it Dutch?
I didn't think so.
Isn't it Dutch?
I mean, my point in trying to convince them of that was not accuracy.
So I have a question. This is a serious question.
Okay.
If there were rails, like actual rails for this show,
we have come off them.
Where are we
can't see
in relation to
anymore.
them?
But we're going to answer this question seriously right after this.
In a world marked by uncertainty and anxiety, Christians wonder, am I really saved? Does God still love me? Can I still trust his promises? These are important questions. Westminster Seminary, California invites you to consider them with W. Robert Godfrey, Michael Horton, David Van Drunen, Joel Kim, and R. Scott Clark in an evening and a morning of biblical teaching, encouragement, and refreshment on Blessed Assurance, resting in the promises of God. Friday evening, January 23rd, and Saturday morning, the 24th. To register and find out more, go to wscal.edu/conference. wscal.edu/conference. Or call 760-480-8474. Blessed Assurance, Resting in the Promises of God, featuring W. Robert Godfrey, Michael Horton, David Van Drunen, Joel Kim, and R. Scott Clark. January 23rd and 24th. WSCAL.edu/conference. WSCAL.edu/conference.
Call or text now 760-618-1563.
I think we do have to distinguish between humans as image bearers and animals as not. That being said, I think I probably am guilty of having had and maybe still having an inadequate theology of animals. And I need to do some work on that. And one of the things that has provoked me is seeing all these videos where it's pretty clear. I mean, obviously people attribute human qualities to animals and, and that's all very speculative, but it seems pretty clear. For example, when you see animals that are reunited with their rescuers, I've seen those videos. Or I watch a video about Surga, who was an orphaned lion, and this fellow raised this lioness, and they are bonded, and she's not bonded to any other humans. And he says it wouldn't be safe for other humans to be standing near her because, she doesn't know them. But she regards him, and I can't remember his name. I think he's South African. I don't know what. I'm not sure where he's from. Anyway, she regards him as one of her pack, and she even lets him hunt with her and eat from the kill. She does not roast the meat, but he does. He roasts
I was
the
like,
meat.
this just got super weird.
I mean, but it's extraordinary. I mean, cats don't share food, but this cat regards him. And so when she sees him, she comes out of this enclosure. He has to, I don't know how many hundreds of pounds she is, but she's huge, obviously. And he has to sit down on the ground or fall just so, because she jumps on him. She's so excited to see him. And like she's not ever seen him before. Like she hasn't seen him for years. It's only been a day or something. It's amazing. There's a real relationship there. And she's pretty obviously happy. I've seen animals that were sad. I've seen animals that were grieving. You have a pair of animals and one of them dies and the other mourns. So, I mean, all of that's true without humanizing them. And they do show affection. So I think that's true, defensible. But I mean, you don't want to anthropomorphize them and turn them into human beings. The last thing that I thought of is for 2 Samuel 12, this is Nathan rebuking David. But I think the assumption that he makes is interesting. Nathan came to him and said to him, there were two men in a certain city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing but one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and which he had brought up, and it grew up with him and with his children. It used to eat of his morsel and drink from his cup and lie in his arms. It was like a daughter to him. The assumption of that is this is a thing that happens, and I think this sort of thing does happen, and that ewe lamb is clearly a pet. And he clearly, the poor man has affection for that pet. And there's nothing in that narrative to suggest that that's wrong or a shame or something over which to be embarrassed, because in fact, it's essential to the story that he tells because of what happens next and how we're supposed to be outraged over this because of this intimate relationship between the man and his pet lamb. So it seems to me that there's even some biblical warrant for having pets and being fond and so forth.
Yeah, and there's a line that I think I do understand what he's after. Maybe he falls further down the skeptical line than I do. But I appreciate something that he's after because, we do see things, people taking their dog they can't go out to eat without their dog. I'm like, it's a dog.
Okay, but isn't that cultural? Because in France and in Europe, it's frequent. It frequently happens that people take their dogs with them to, especially cafes. And it happens out here now all the time. If you're not inside the restaurant typically, but at an outdoor cafe to have a dog at your feet, I don't see anything wrong with that.
Well, if the French do it.
I don't know that I'm trying to be more like the French, to be honest.
I'm just saying this is a cultural matter, not a principial matter. I mean, our dog sits at my feet.
I don't like this cultural development. When
Okay.
our dog starts when our dogs start controlling decisions we make. I can't go there because the dog. I have had a dog and I have loved that dog, and yet life goes on.
Yeah. We travel the way we do in part because we have a dog, right? I mean, you make accommodations.
How about talking about order of loves?
Oh, I think that's a great point. Can you elaborate on that? That's a very good category for this.
Well, actually, I was hoping you guys would.
Like purchasing a pack of diapers. Is that what you mean? Order of love?
So where do animals fall on the order, like the hierarchy that we have in our life for our loves? Well, it should obviously fall lower than taking care of ourselves, taking care of our spouses, our children, and then you go a little bit farther down, whatever. Farther down. Okay, so it seemed like we were talking geographically, but also it could have been either way. The point is, next I have to take care of my neighbor, other image bearers. If I walk by a dude who is starving to death and I say, be full while I'm feeding my dog peacock jerky, that shows,
Your dog would like peacock jerky too, I'm sure.
Right, but it could have saved that guy because not only did Augustine believe that it tasted good, but that it would possibly provide eternal life. So
not eternal life.
Well, I mean, that was kind of the idea back then. It was that if you ate peacock food, whatever, that it would somehow give you like immortality. That was the idea
like
at the time.
Youth.
Yeah, but it came from peacock jerky.
I like it.
That's what was so weird as I was reading one of the many weird things
be my
from
weird
reading
thing.
from reading City of God was the immortality that comes from eating peacock. Anyways, the point is there's an order, and if your pet is higher than taking care of your children or taking care of yourself
your neighbor
or other believers, not that you should not take care of your pets, but
yeah, I mean, I agree. If
you care more
that's
about
right. In the Ordo Amoris, to use Augustine's expression, and there's a 3-part essay on the Heidelblog, and if you just go to heidelblog.net and search for Order of Love, and you can see that for yourself, and maybe this will appear in. I'm working on Christian nationalism, or at least that's my goal. I have been working on it off and on, and so it will appear in some other format as well. But yes, there is an order of affection, an order of love. And if your neighbor is starving and you're feeding your dog steak and you're not feeding your neighbor to keep him from starving, then your order is goofed up. It's not right. Your neighbor is made in the image of God. Your dog is not. Your dog is not an image bearer. Your dog is not redeemed or redeemable by Christ. I mean, that's different. So you need to take care of your neighbor. You need to love your neighbor. And that sometimes might mean feeding your neighbor, making sure that he gets food, has food, whatever he needs. So love your neighbor as yourself. If you were starving, you wouldn't want your neighbor to look at you and say, well, I have to feed Barfy. I can't help you. I need to take care of Barfy. You're on your own.
That's a
buddy.
great peacock name.
Barfy?
Barfy the peacock.
Yeah, animals are part of God's good creation, and we're called to steward them. Steward
That's Genesis 1.
Creation and animals, and so we should be. And if we do have pets, right, we should be taking care of them. Otherwise, we shouldn't have pets if we can't take care of them. But if we put them higher in that order of love than other humans, then there's something wrong. And I think that's what the questioner is getting to is, what about these people who,
I agree.
They can't tip their server, but they can, spend thousands of dollars on their
bills,
dogs, vet bills and food and all that stuff. Just, you got to fix the order.
Right.
But part of God's good creation.
So here's a related question that I think might be even more interesting to discuss, or at least it would be interesting to discuss, equally interesting. What about having pets instead of children? I remember when we first got to Kansas City, one of the first things that the Heidelfrau wanted was a Scottish Terrier. That was the first Heidel dog. We're on Heidel dog number 3, actually. And it was great. We really enjoyed having a dog. In fact, we had not yet to that point decided to have children. We had talked in seminary about not having children and focusing on ministry. That was our thinking at the time. And the senior pastor with whom I was working, Norman Hofflinger, said, you two need to have children, right? You're treating this pet like a child. It's a surrogate child, is what he said. He was polite about it. He was gracious, but obviously it made an impression because that was a long time ago, and I remember it very clearly. And I think he had a point. I mean, we were probably treating this dog like as a surrogate child, and I am a little concerned now that people are having pets instead of children. Not that I'm trying to impose a law on people and saying that you have to have children, but we don't baptize pets, right? Some of the goofy Anglicans and maybe Roman Catholics, I don't know, but there are some that will have services for pets where you can bring your pet for a blessing. I guess they don't baptize them, but you can bring your pet for a blessing. This is a thing I've seen over the years, and so I guess it's a way to get people into church.
I know of PCUSA congregation who that did it.
They do it, yeah. I think it would be kind of interesting to see what that service looks like with all those animals in church. I mean, it just as a sociological thing, I think. As a lover of pets, I'm a dog person. I've had cats. When I was a kid, we had cats. We had one dog, Gretel.
I guess
she bit a neighbor boy.
I'm not sure I like the instead of language.
Yeah.
It's fine to have pets. And I understand that there are reasons of various kinds why people don't have kids.
Yeah. Sometimes they want to and they can't, or.
Right.
But what if they can have children and they choose not to, and they choose to have a pet instead because it's more convenient or whatever?
Well, I would question the felicity of instead of. I'm going to have this animal instead of a child.
Felicity?
Yeah. Felicitousness.
Is that the name of the dog, Felicity?
I thought felicity meant like a happy thing.
Yeah. And I'm questioning that it's a happy thing.
So the category you're using is not sin or righteousness, but blessedness or not blessedness.
Well-being, yeah. I struggle to think that, so I am not questioning that a pet can occupy an important place in our life. I am not questioning that it can be of good benefit to family life, whether you have kids or not.
Yeah.
I am questioning whether we can have an animal not made in the image of God that rightfully occupies the same place as a child.
I mean, a pet can't occupy the same place as a child.
Well, so that's why I'm questioning instead of. It cannot hold the same place. It may be important, that's fine. It may be a blessing, that's fine. It may be the case that you have a pet and don't have a child, and that's fine. But I do not think it's good and right that we would say, this pet is my child.
I mean, yeah, because you can't initiate, you don't have a covenant pet, and you can't initiate that pet into the covenant community.
The Levites did. They sacrificed them.
Well, that's true. Okay. But they weren't circumcised into the covenant community.
Right. They were still intact.
Yeah. Going back to other earlier episodes. and B2 Scott just got us again.
I'm sorry. The rails, they're so far away.
We might find them by next episode.
Yeah.
It's okay. We just lean into it. I'm just glad I found my weird. I've wanted a weird doctrine, and I've found it. The peacock meat thing. That's a.
Did you look it up?
No, but it doesn't matter. I love it. This is my thing. All the like theologians have their weird thing, and I may not ever be a great one, but this is my weird thing. The peacock meat thing. Not heavenly life. I won't say that. I'm not a Pelagian, but some sort of. Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But peacock meat. That's the key.
This is the Heidelcast.
So we are supposed to be fruitful and multiply. That is in the Bible. And I've heard people dispute whether that's still binding, but I think that reflects a lack of understanding of the existence of a creational mandate. This is not a Mosaic institution. This is a creational institution. Long before Moses, right? Genesis 1:27, 28. So God created man, meaning humans, in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them, and God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living thing that moves on the earth. I think one of the mistakes I made coming out of seminary was I didn't have a proper grasp of the creational mandate and the creation as a category because I didn't understand the distinction between nature and grace, to go back to last week's episode. And therefore, I didn't understand the importance of, for example, having children. And having them was a great blessing. We had a dog, loved the dog, but when the children came, our relationship to the dog changed significantly, as it should, because the children are image bearers. They were part of us, right? We have a kind of unique relationship to children that you don't have with a pet, that you can't have with a pet. You shouldn't even try to replicate. And it was a great privilege to initiate those children into the Christ-confessing covenant community, to nurture them, pray with them, love them, raise them, and watch them grow up in the Lord. That was a beautiful thing. That isn't a thing that you do or have with a pet. It's not possible, right?
Agree.
Yeah, agreed. Well said. And if anyone wants to go look it up, it's book 21, chapter 4 of The City of God.
I'm writing it down.
Not Order of Loves, but Order of Peacocks. Right there in the first paragraph.
But say that reference again.
21:4, City of God.
Can you read it for us?
For who, but God, the creator of all things, has given to the flesh of the peacock its antiseptic property. This property, when I first heard of it, seemed to me incredible. But it happened at Carthage that a bird of this kind was cooked and served up to me. And taking a suitable slice of flesh from its breast, I ordered it to be kept.
So he had some. He ate some.
Yeah, that's why he lived forever. I ordered it to be kept. And when it had been kept as many days as make any other flesh stinking, it was produced and set before me and emitted no offensive smell. And after it had been laid by for 30 days and more, it was still in the same state. And after a year, the same still, except that it was a little more shriveled and drier.
Interesting.
Thus ends the reading of peacock antiseptic meat.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I
And
love
if you
this
Google
so
it,
much.
it says they talk about it as adding to immortality.
Yeah. So this is interesting. This is why theologians should be very careful about making scientific observations, because after a while, they come to be regarded as silly.
I think this is encouragement to make them.
Because
This is great stuff. I would be happy to be remembered for this.
And Scott, you were saying?
Yeah, stuff like that is why reading City of God really tarnished St. Augustine's reputation in my church, because I had to constantly defend why he's saying things like this. Not just that one thing, but 1,000 pages worth of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I recommend anyone who's going to do a reading of City of God, do the abridged version.
Okay. Do you have a recommendation for an abridged version, or just any abridged version?
No, but I would take a recommendation for an abridged version.
I'm sure one exists. I don't have one.
Because you guys remember when I said we're struggling through City of
I-
God? It's because he spends so much time talking about
Yes.
that.
Yeah. So was he making a broader point at that instance?
Yes, but no.
Okay. Peacock meat. See, listener, this is the stuff that you can only get on the Super Friends.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Super Friends. Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow for more from the Heidelcast, brought to you by Heidelberg Reformation Association.org. Don't forget, when the coin in the coffer clinks, the cost of bandwidth shrinks. Copyright Heidelberg Reformation Association. All rights reserved. This is a Heidel Media production.
The best podcast, the Heidelcast.